today with Beth Callahan, who's been a member for, is this your third year or fourth year?
Fourth
Year
year. Yeah.
of the CSA. And Beth has been one of those people who I oftentimes get nice emails from folks telling me how happy they are with things. And she also brought me a shareholder, Marcia, and then Marcia brought Jim, her husband. And then finally, every once in a while sends along a nice washcloth that she's made for me. So we have our mini hands washcloths are now Beth Callahan, vintage Beth Callahan. So thank you for that. And I wanted to interview you today just to see, see why you're with us. So we've determined, I guess, that you're in your fourth year of buying from the
I'm in
CSA.
my fourth year. When my husband and I sold our property in Rutland and moved to a 55 plus, I ended up losing my very large garden that used to supply all of our produce. So I immediately looked up organic farms in the area, and I chose you, partly because you are no-till. Actually, that was a huge part of it because I know how difficult that is. I tried it. And I know how much that adds to the quality and the nutritional value of the produce that you're providing.
Let me ask you a question that's a little off the record here, but not off the record, but off the list. How did you know about no-till and why that was good? How'd you learn about that?
Because several years ago, my husband brought me a book about no-till farming, and I immediately read up on everything I could on it and how valuable it is and how it's really the way nature intends us to grow things. So I tried doing it myself. It was very difficult. It requires a tremendous amount of knowledge and work. So I already knew how valuable that was and how valuable it is to our environment because we're not disturbing the soil. So all of that meant a great deal to me.
Yeah.
And I knew that meant that your produce was excellent, which it is.
Well, as much as no-till, of course, any methodology it can be done well or it can be done. Yeah. I mean, I would say that about organic too. If it's organic, it's not necessarily extremely good. It can be. And if it's no-till, it can be. Those are all like markers, I guess, toward it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would never have considered looking for anything other than organic.
Yeah.
Because I believe our medicine is our food first and foremost. So I'm very aware of everything that's in our food today, and I believe that is probably 90% of why there is such horrendous health issues in America today, especially compared to other countries where they've banned 90% of what we put into our foods. It's unbelievable.
Like red dye number 3, right? For example. Yeah.
Yeah. And they only did that recently out of pressure.
Well, yeah, we just did, but it's been banned elsewhere for a long time, as I understand. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, all true. What do you buy from us? What are the
as much as I can. So
okay, that's good.
For my husband and I, we just buy the small. But I'm actually considering going to the medium so that I can and freeze for the months that I don't get the CSA.
Yeah, good. I always feel like we've really accomplished something when our members start, early on and at various points, I've had people who will join and with that in mind, and then they will actually put away enough food for the entire year.
Yeah.
Usually it's with a large, and then you can really every week, some large quantity of your food, you can say, okay, well, we're going to freeze the chard this week or the broccoli or the whatever it is, and then have it ready for the winter time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. I feel very accomplished when people will do that. I feel like we've really met our goals for consumer education.
Well, the moment my CSA arrives, and actually because my next door neighbor is a working shareholder, she and her husband,
Mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm,
I no longer have to pick up my produce, but I love going to the farm. It's a
mm-hmm,
beautiful ride. And
mm-hmm,
I also just enjoy seeing the farm and the animals and everything and what you're doing there.
mm-hmm,
But she brings it to me, but sometimes I'll go anyway, just so I can pick up the other things that I'm
mm-hmm.
buying.
Right. And you buy meat too, don't you?
Yes, I do. So I
What do
buy
you, what?
chicken, pork, your turkeys. I bought two turkeys this year and I froze
Uh-huh.
one. Your
Good.
turkeys are the best tasting, juiciest turkeys I've ever had in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I immediately make stock, a nice amount of stock, and I make tons of leftovers. I make turkey pot pies and oh, what's some of the other things that I make? Oh, I make tons of leftovers from, and we enjoy those, and then sometime in the spring I'll do up another turkey.
Great. Great.
Yep, and your
Well,
chicken's the same way.
you might notice that we still have three. We neglected to sell. There were various snafus at Thanksgiving, so we still have three in the freezer. So if you find you
And
need one before Thanksgiving, let us
I
know.
might have to have you keep it in your freezer for a little while because I
I
have
can
no
do that.
room in mine.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Now the freezers, we have 8 freezers, and
Okay.
but now they're
Oh,
starting to get less food in them now because we've done everything we were going to do. Last thing we did was pork stock. We made about 100 quarts of that, and but so we're not freezing anything else now. We're just eating it all now, or
okay.
selling it. So we have
So
plenty of room.
if I get one of those turkeys, you can
Hmm.
keep it for me until I have room in my freezer?
Yeah,
Because I
and you know what? I can just hold on to at least one. I mean, I haven't had any bites on the other two either, but I'll hold on to one for sure.
thank
And if it
you.
looks like somebody wants to buy it, I'll give you a holler and make sure that you have
Okay,
first dibs on it.
okay. That sounds great to me.
Good.
So that, and I
Well,
have a second freezer, not, I have a stand-up freezer
mhm.
in my basement. So, but that's chock full. I could never fit another turkey in there right now.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. I'll hold on to it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see what else I wanted to ask you. Yeah, what keeps you coming back year after year? So you chose us because we were no-till, but why did you stick around?
Um, the quality, without a doubt, and knowing the nutritional value. Um, your podcasts and your newsletter on Mondays show me that you are constantly working toward the best that you can do and constantly trying to improve. That's
Mm-hmm,
amazing to me, and I'm so glad that you share it. Um,
mm-hmm.
and I know, well, my neighbor has also told me that she is in awe of the number of worms in your soil, which is an absolute testament to the quality of your soil.
Uh-huh.
Um, So I know what I'm getting from you.
Mhm,
I know that it's the best I can get. Um, and I don't know that when I go shopping for organic somewhere else, I'm not
mhm,
sure that I'm getting that quality. Um, you know, there I've seen too many other things that have been approved by the organic community for the sake of
the USDA,
preservation.
yeah,
Yeah,
NOP, yeah, right,
or the sake of pest control, and I don't want any of that in my food.
right, right,
So,
yeah. No,
and
adulterated,
I
I think
like
is
that
the word
it's
you're looking
local.
for.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Oh,
you.
I say adulterated. The USDA organic program, Jack and I were involved at the very beginnings of organic certification back in
Yeah,
1986 was when NOFA Mass started doing it. And he was on the organic certification committee for 13 years, for NOFA, while I was the executive director. But so have been involved with certification from the inception.
yeah,
And so there were, at the time that the feds took over, this is interesting, historical information, there were 44 different certification agencies around the country. Most of them would like all the NOFAs had them, and then in Oregon and California Certified Organic and Oregon Tilth and Washington Tilth and all around the country, they had these own certification programs. Most of them quite similar because we talked to each other a lot at that point. All these organizations were talking together, but and then the feds took over and they, immediately started to downgrade the
Yes.
standards. And that's been, it finally came out, I think it was 2000. Is that right? 2002, Jack?
2002 it became official.
Yeah,
Legal,
2002 it became official. And, since then, all the organizations that were advocacy organizations have been fighting with the feds to make sure that they don't erode it further all the time.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right that organic certification, it's a start,
Yep.
but it's
Yep.
not the be all and end all by any
Right.
stretch.
Right.
Great. Let me see what else I wanted to ask you. Do you have any idea if our CSA is distinctive from other CSAs on here?
Well, again, I'm going to go back to no-till.
Mhm.
I am not, I'm familiar with no-till locally, kind of in Central Mass, but I don't know that there's another no-till organic. And the organic
Mhm.
is extremely important to me.
Mhm.
So I would say that, and the fact that you educate and utilize local people and you're teaching other people how to farm and how to farm well, that is
Mhm.
extremely important to me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Important to us too. I think both,
I,
Jack and I come from an organizing background or organizing and advocacy and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we've been doing all of our lives. So
well,
we like
you've
it.
put that to very good use for our benefit.
Oh, good. Well,
So,
good.
and I'm
I'm
glad it
glad you.
benefits you also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do what we do. If we enjoy what we like, what we do best, then it's a great benefit for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about, this is for if you were, presumably there'll be people watching this who are just like, oh, I don't know if I want to join a CSA. What am I going to do with all the kale? What do I do about the fact that I can't choose what I want? I mean, some CSAs you get to pick things, right? And
Yeah.
here, because we're in Barry and most people don't come here,
Yeah.
most people we have deliveries, to Shrewsbury, Worcester, Holden, Gardner, Athol.
Yeah.
Most people pick up somewhere else. We find it pretty, difficult to even consider giving people choice for what they get. So people just get what we give them. And that's not something that Americans, kind of cotton to.
Right.
So tell me why, if you could explain to a person who's really on the edge about whether or not they should join a CSA and give up that opportunity for choice, why they should do that rather than just going to the farmer's market or going to Whole Foods or going to, I think Big Y sometimes has organic food, and so does Hannaford, and some of those other places have some organic produce, right? So tell me why.
Well, yes, you can get organic produce many places. But there's a couple of reasons why I would continue going through you, and that's partly that you're local. I like local. I think local honey is better for us, and I think local produce is also just as local meats and everything. I think all of that is better for us.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm buying organic at Whole Foods, it can come from Canada, it can come from Mexico. And it's always organic certified by those countries, and it's gone through a tremendous amount of travel. Over time, that depletes the nutritional value.
Right.
So, I mean, that makes a difference to me. And also, I've noticed that all the organic looks perfect. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that means there's no organic that can constantly look so perfect.
Although so much of ours does, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh, your greens this year were spectacular. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Um, they were spectacular. And
Well, I
you,
was discussing that with somebody else, and the reason, we got this load of kelp, 14 tons of kelp was delivered to us because they didn't have room in their warehouse freezers, and so we've been spreading kelp like crazy all over the farm, and I think that was why the lettuces were 2-pound lettuces, and and the kale and the
oh,
collards and the chard and all that were just like out of this world. They really were. Yeah, it was
they
pretty
really
good.
were unbelievable. The lettuces were spectacular.
Mhm.
And I was able to, because the kale and the chard were so prolific, I still have some in my freezer that I'm going to be using. So
Mhm.
I love that. Um, and I would say I love doing local, and I know that because I'm getting it the day it's picked, that it is at the highest nutritional value that I can get.
Mhm. Okay, good. Just asking a little bit about quality. Have you ever like bought something from a store and then got something from us, at similar timing so that you could actually make that connection between the quality difference, taste,
Yes.
whatever?
It's not that easy to do, but I think that your quality is far exceeds what I can get in a store. I don't know how long it's been sitting in the store.
Mhm.
I don't know how many people are breathing on it. Um, but
Well,
and
that
I
just increases your microbiome, that's might be a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I am all about the microbiome. So
I'm sure you are, yes.
um, but the quality is, I know it's the highest I can get by
Mhm.
going local and by going with you.
Mhm.
I know that. And and by the way, I wanted to go back to the fact that when we buy from the CSA, that does not give us opportunity to buy every different kind of vegetable we might want. That doesn't mean we can't go to the store and get one or two other things that we want, which I do.
Right. Yeah.
So I do supplement when I have to for a certain recipe or something, but I
Mhm.
really work around what you're providing. And you let us know every Monday morning what you're providing. And I do
Right.
a lot of my recipes based on that. And
Mhm.
I also like the fact that if I'm using something that, using a vegetable that is in season rather
Mhm.
than something that has been held over, or is from a different area that has to have a lot of travel, it's
It's in
still
season there, but not here. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. So those things I think need to be considered.
All right. Um, how about some tips for someone, again, let's talk to the new person who's going to join the CSA. Oftentimes people are overwhelmed when they join. Can you give people some tips on how to deal with their CSA share? What do you do when you get at home? Tell me how to
Oh,
help people with that whole process.
okay, so I know what time I'm getting my shares, and
Mhm.
I always leave that time open so I can put things away. And actually, I do my greens immediately. So I process the greens and I put them in the containers for using throughout the week.
So processing means what?
Well, I have a special recipe that I use, and I actually cook my kale, my chard, my beet greens, and a lot of times some of the Asian greens, I'll cook them together, and they're
Mhm.
delicious, all mixed together.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I do it with garlic and olive oil and searing them and then steaming them. And I
Mhm.
use lemon
Mhm.
and a little salt and pepper, and they're delicious.
Mhm.
Um, and the fact that my husband loves them means they're delicious. So,
He wasn't an easy sell, was he?
no, he wasn't. Even the idea of it, just, it's like, you're gonna give me what? So, but he loves it and he looks forward to it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, and then, and again, because of I love your Monday morning newsletter. I
Mhm.
look forward to that and I read every word.
Oh,
Um,
great.
And I love that you have links to informational things that are important. And that you list the the produce that we're going to be getting for the week, which makes it
Mhm.
very easy to figure out my menu for that week.
Right, right. And just say to people that if you want to sign up for our newsletter, you can, whether you're a CSA member or not. You can just go to
Oh, okay.
MHOF.net, and it's on the homepage. People can
Yep.
sign up for it. So,
Sign up for that newsletter. It's great.
right. And they also get political commentary, whether they like
Yes,
it or
they
not.
do. Whether they want it or not.
Or agree with it either.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We don't always have, people don't always agree with us. So we
That's
hear about
okay.
it, but is there anything else that you'd like to share with people that would help to promote our farm and our CSA?
I would say I think it's important for people to understand that they're not getting what they would at the store as far as the variety, but they are getting the best they can for their health on a weekly basis. I
And
love
it's
that.
not, yeah, and just to clarify that we have a lot of variety. You usually get
Yeah.
12 to 14 items, but it might not be everything that you can buy at the store.
Right, right. I mean, we get plenty. I mean, my crispers are chock full every time and then some.
Yes.
So, and if the produce doesn't look absolutely perfect, it doesn't mean it's not nutritional or that it's not, I mean, it's absolutely delicious.
Or that it's dangerous for them.
Right.
If it has a bug on it, yeah.
No, it's not. But it also means that you're growing it the way nature intended, and you're not adding chemicals that might have been approved for pest control. You're using pest control the way nature intended.
Yeah, with maximum fertility.
Right, right.
Yeah, we don't use any pest control.
Yeah, right. I love that.
Well,
Other than what do they call that when you plant things that,
oh, companion planting?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing I have to say, we do use ashes sometimes around plants for slugs, sometimes at the base of
Oh,
the,
yeah.
which is a physical barrier thing for them. But
Yeah,
yeah, we don't spray on anything. So
good.
we spray things on, but they're all fertile. It's all minerals and biological and
Yeah.
biostimulants.
By the way, I also love that you're now providing recipes and explanations for the different greens that are coming through and how to use them and what their value is. I love that.
Yeah, good. Well, like you say, we're always trying to upgrade, Beth.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you for your time today.
You're
And
very
we're going to